All right, how's it going, everybody? My name is Cam White, and welcome to your November 2020 horoscope. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you're watching the recording of this, I'm actually doing this live on Twitch. This is all pre-recorded, so if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to know how to watch this live, go into the description, follow my Twitch channel. You'll get a notification when I take these live. Every month I do a monthly horoscope where I kind of go in detail of all the major transits of the month, and at the end, I read basically for every zodiac sign, but I use people's charts that are in the audience that are live with me. So it's really interactive. It's really fun. I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably have already seen me do this before, and if you've stuck around all the way to the end, I appreciate you watching the whole horoscope. Come on, air conditioner, work for me. There we go. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. We have quite a bit to cover today. November has a lot going on. November is a very crazy month, just like it's been a crazy year. So I'm super excited for you guys all to be here. Oh, I should probably turn on the comments. There we go. And also, before we talk about it, let me just double check that this is going okay on Twitch. It's Mercury Retrograde, so I need to double check that this is all functioning the way it needs to go. This month we have quite a few different highlights going on. All right, it is streaming. Cool. There we go. Awesome. So, we do have quite a few crazy things going on this month. Let's go ahead and pull up the thingamajigger here. I don't even know what I would call this. This is my little list of what I made of what we're going to be talking about today. A lot going on. Like I said, we have the Mercury retrograde finishing up this month. We have the Venus-Mars opposition I've been talking about. We have that last Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. We have another Mercury-Uranus opposition. We got Venus going into Libra, squaring Saturn and everything. Neptune stations direct. We have the eclipses going on at the end of this month. There's a lot that we've got going on this month, especially too. If you've watched, I know, right? I can't believe it's already fucking November. But if you watch my year ahead horoscopes, which, by the way, I'm also in the middle of writing those outlines right now. So, if you're wanting year ahead horoscopes, those are going to be on the way soon. But if you watch that, I talked about how, like, September, October, November, super, super crazy. In December, like, the first 2 weeks of December are, like, kind of not that crazy. It's weird. Like, we have eclipse season, and right when eclipse season starts, it's kind of like this weird time and space, and then as we get into the last 2 weeks of December, it's like bam, 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 bam. I know. Thank you guys for being patient with this too. Hold on, let me actually get rid of this chat box because this one's already down here. I totally forgot about doing this November horoscope. I meant to say something about it on my last week, but I forgot about it. And then, like, the other day, I was like, I haven't done my monthly horoscope yet. Holy fucking shit. So, thank you guys for being here. I also try to do this at a better time so a lot more people can be here. So I'm glad you guys are here. Anyway, let's jump into it. First thing we got going on is we're going to have Mercury squaring Saturn first thing in the month. Let me go ahead and pull up the chart. This is the chart for right now. I did start this with 29 Sag rising though. Let me go ahead and move the days. I'm not prepared like I should have been. So anyway, that full moon on Halloween. Then as we get to November 1st, that's when we're going to be having that Mercury square Saturn. And it's actually to the minute right here at 10:56 a.m. here in LA, Pacific Standard Time. Starting off the month with this Mercury Saturn square is very uncomfortable in my opinion. When we talk about this Mercury retrograde and how it's going to be stationing direct here on the 3rd, I think as it comes to that square with Saturn, there's this, it's having a hard conversation. It's having an intervention. It's kind of having Mercury is all right, in order to settle the score, in order to justify things, in order for things to go right, you have to have these hard conversations with Mercury squaring Saturn. There's some type of authority, there's some type of wall, there's some type of barrier, there's some type of, structural issue that you're trying to address. And Mercury and Libra is just trying to get everything fair and balanced. And with Mercury retrograde, not everything is fair. Not everything is going to work the way that you want it to. I think you'll see that a lot, of course, in the political world. I think as far as the election goes, I'm not going to be making any predictions today. I'm not going to be really going into it, but I do think it's really interesting because also, let me throw this up to you. November 1st, Mercury squares Saturn. November 2nd, Mercury stations direct. And then November 5th, we have Mercury squaring Saturn again. So there's kind of like this back and forthness with the Mercury square situation. But this first Mercury square, Mercury's in Libra, you know, trying to be more fair, be more poetic, have a little more balance in its tone, relate a little bit more in its communication as it's squaring Saturn. There's some type of boundary. There's some type of wall or barrier that's getting in the way of Mercury trying to do its job. Mercury is in the superior position here, so Mercury does have the ultimate authority, but also Saturn's in its home sign. Saturn's direct, Mercury's retrograde. This is kind of like when a parent is caught off guard when their kid says something smart or sassy, and the parent didn't react the way that they were supposed to. Anyway, we get to November 2nd, and Mercury is going to be stationing direct. Now, again, Mercury went into shadow. Jesus Christ. I don't even remember when Mercury went into shadow. Middle of October, I think, October 14th, or no, that was when Mercury stationed retrograde. So Mercury's been in shadow for some time now. And this is going to be the point where we go, okay, everything that we've been reflecting on, that we've been reviewing, Mercury and Libra, right? Mercury and Libra was very much like, you know, this is how, Mercury's like, this, what is justified, what is right. I thought it was interesting when Mercury was in Libra, everyone was like, this is what the law says, and this is what is right, and this is what I think is fair. And then Mercury went into Scorpio, and everyone's like, fuck it, I'm just going to say whatever the fuck I feel like, and I'm just going to go, you know, insane on one end. Mercury in Libra is very like, you know, we can have conversations, we can have civility in our conversations, right? Mercury in Scorpio is very much like, nah, we're going to go straight for the jugular. We're going to go, you know, we're going to be very direct. Mercury in Libra is very passive. Mercury in Scorpio is very direct. As Mercury comes back into retrograde and now stations direct on November 2nd, this is when it's like, okay, maybe being super direct and upfront isn't always the best situation to receive a message or to communicate a message, no matter how passionate you are about it. And I think Mercury stationing direct in Libra here is kind of like, all right, where do we need to bring some, you know, kind of where do we need to regain composure in order to have this conversation or understand this message or communicate this message. We get to November 5th. Also, I'm going to try. Usually, I'm going to try to do this somewhat fast, but I'm going to try to also take my time. I don't want this to be a 3-hour one. However, I am prepared for 3 hours. Anyway, we get to November 5th. Mercury squares Saturn again. Now, what's interesting about this is Mercury stations direct and then just goes right back to squaring Saturn again. So it's kind of like, again, it's kind of like regaining your composure. Like Mercury's now in Libra. It's Mercury. It's kind of like, what's that? I guess it's a trope or something that you see a lot in movies where there's like a couple and they're having like an argument and it's really low tone in a restaurant. That's like Mercury when it went into shadow in Libra. And then Mercury went into Scorpio, and then it went opposite. Uranus is stationed retrograde. And this is like, you know, the conversation's really loud. It's getting really intense. The couple's like yelling at each other. And then Mercury retrogrades back into Libra square Saturn. It's like someone, like a manager, addresses them, and they're like, hey, you know, you're in a restaurant. Can you please keep it down and not fight? And now Mercury's stationing direct in Libra. This is like, okay, now everyone shuts up. We're going to go back to being calm. We're going to go back to being civil. And we're going to handle this like adults and not just going, you know, with it. So with Mercury squaring Saturn on this round, this would technically be the third round. This is kind of like, you know, it's an uphill battle. Sure, we might want to be Mercury and Scorpio and be really direct, be really sharp with our words, sharp with our tongue. But in order to address the conflict, in order to address the boundary, in order to address the wall that is there. Thanks for subbing. I forgot I have this little thing up to give me alerts. In order to do that stuff, you kind of have to be a little bit more fair, which I think is good for both sides. Anyway, I need some water. How are you guys doing? How was October for you guys? Did you like October? I thought October was fun. In some sense, October is wild. So, after the Mercury Saturn square, we go into my next favorite, probably my favorite aspect of this month, and my favorite aspect, period, almost. We get to the Venus Mars square, or Venus Mars opposition. Now, notice that there's nothing kind of happens for about 4 days after the election. Like, hold on, let me put this up. Like literally nothing crazy really happens. We have like a moon transit. That's about it. Then we get to the 9th. This is when we're going to be having the Venus-Mars opposition. Hold on, what are you guys saying? Messy but productive. Yeah, it has been a mess, hasn't it? But at least it's fun. Have fun with this. Anyway, we have Venus-Mars opposition here on the 9th. Now, again, if you guys have been watching me for a while, I've been preaching about this for a while. Venus opposite Mars happens every Mars retrograde, and I really like them. In my opinion, they're really just like, I don't know, intense. They're very passionate. It's a lot, it's a battle of what our wants versus our desires, connection versus separation. And this is also what's beautiful about this one. And I say beautiful. You guys might be like, no, this sucks. Don't say beautiful. Venus is in Libra. Mars is in Aries. These are their home planets. And it's like Mars in Aries is like Mars and Aries retrograde. And also, by the way, by the time we get to November 9th, Mars is basically motionless and about to station direct. We're almost done with the Mars retrograde. Can you believe that? We're almost done with Mars retrograde. We're halfway through Mars being in Aries. We only have the rest of November, December for Mars in Aries, and then Mars goes into Taurus. Now, we're on month 4? Month 4 of Mars in Aries now. You guys should be sick of it by now. And that's why I really like this Venus-Mars opposition, is because it's like Mars is literally about to station direct. Mars is still retrograde, though. Venus is in its home sign. Mars is in its home sign. There's this, both parties here are in really good positions. Venus and Libra is like, hey, what's fair? What's right? I want to connect myself to, something that's more beautiful, something that's more pleasant, something that's more enjoyable. This is an air sign, it's more logical. Mars is in Aries, like, I want to do, this is where my desire is, this is what I'm trying to engage with, this is where I'm trying to go, but it's retrograde. It's like, Mars retrograding in Aries is like, you can't always do everything that just because you want to, just because that spark of energy comes up. It's like, what's going to be sustainable? What are you going to be able to do over long periods of time? What can you commit to? Because I think that's a big lesson with this Mars retrograde, because it was squaring Saturn, and we're going to get, we're going to have Mars square Saturn again in Aquarius and Taurus. But with Mars squaring Saturn, it's like we can't just pick up something and start it, right? Like, what has longevity? What has, what can we have our patience for? And really, it's Mars and Aries, right? We're wanting to just start. We're wanting to just get things done and just go. And that doesn't always work. And I think with Venus opposite Mars, I think the question now comes, what are we wanting to start? What do we actually want here? And I think Mars retrograde in Aries is like, if we don't actually want it bad enough, we're not going to do it. If you don't actually value it enough, like, you're not going to do it. You're not going to go for it. You're not going to get it unless you actually want it, unless you're actually willing to do the work, even if it's harder than you expected. And I think Venus going opposite Mars is very much like, is this what you want? Is this what you desire? Is this actually what you're trying to attract? And there's going to be part of you that says, yes, this is what I'm wanting. And the other part that's going, no, I actually don't want this anymore. You guys got to remember, Mars separates, Mars cuts, Mars severs. And so this is Venus and Libra. This is like really focused questioning of like, hey, I'm going to, make another hoarder's analogy here. So get ready. It's like that moment where you get, like, in the Hoarders show where they give the little person the box. They're like, here's this one box you get to go through. And they always get down to they get down to one thing. And they're like, no, I got to hold on to this. And the person's like, do you want it or do you not? And they're always like, I don't know. Yes, no, maybe so. This Venus-Mars opposition, how bad do you want it? And are you willing to do what it takes to make that connection? Even if, like, this is Mars opposite Venus. Like, even if you're angry, even if you're frustrated, even if you don't know what to do, are you going to be willing to do what it takes to make that connection, to make that peace? Are you reaching out to the other side, or are you cutting yourself off from that ever happening? And I think that's another thing to see. This is Venus opposite Mars. Maybe Venus here is trying to reach out to the other side, trying to branch off. And Mars retrograde in Aries might be a little bit too stingy or too upset to make that reach out. This is an opposition, right? This is not a good aspect. There isn't harmony between these two. There is tension. There is a conflict that is and there's a lot of confrontation here too. So I think on the 9th, I think the real question just really becomes like, what do you need? What wants, what desires do you need to separate yourself from that aren't yours or that don't work for you? And what do you need to connect yourself more to? What do you actually want, essentially? We get to November 10th, the next day. Mercury goes back into Scorpio. Let me do this because Mercury's still in Libra here. And boom, Mercury goes back into Scorpio. So with Mercury going back into Scorpio at this point, this is kind of like watching a scary movie or watching a scary movie, not realizing like some of the scenes that we're going to be in it. It's like, hold on, before I keep watching this, let me put a pause on this. Let me hold up on this. And as Mercury goes back into Scorpio, this is where we get to allow ourselves to go a little bit deeper. It's like, Mercury going into Scorpio, oh, that was too deep. Oh, that's a little bit too crazy. Let me reevaluate things. Again, I've been making the sniper analogy a lot of like Mercury and Scorpio. It's like, we had our target, and as Mercury went retrograde, it's like, well, where can we see things differently? Now that Mercury went back into Libra, station direct, move forward, Mercury's back in Scorpio. This is where we get to readjust ourselves and to kind of realign our target. This is where we get to kind of focus in our scope. That's a good way to put it, actually. Focus in your scope. Mercury is still in shadow at this point. We're still going over the things that we were reevaluating, that we were reviewing, that we were reflecting on. And this is Mercury and Scorpio, There's no bullshitting Mercury and Scorpio. It's easy to bullshit Mercury and Libra. Mercury and Libra loves the bullshit. But Mercury and Scorpio isn't going to take the bullshit. It's a fixed sign, It's literally like nothing's changing. Now, with Mercury and Scorpio, there is this sense of, now that you're aware of how things are, now that you're aware how deep of things go, how does that, I guess, and now that you've reflected, you reviewed on that, what are you going to do different this time? How are you going to see things differently? How are you communicating things differently? Are you getting to the point? Are you going straight for like the jugular? And I think there's a part of Mercury and Scorpio that's very vicious or very sharp with its tongue. And there's a part of Mercury and Scorpio that's also just very blunt, very clear. Like there's no joking around with it. The results, the intention is very crystal clear. And as Mercury just goes back into Scorpio, things just become sharper, in my opinion. Things become just a lot more clear, or it allows you to be a little bit more clear. Also, I didn't really write this down because there were some other things with Neptune that I kind of wanted to talk more about. There we go. But the Sun also trines Neptune on the day Mercury goes into Scorpio. And so I think there's this really intense almost intuition to, the Sun's now in Scorpio. What are we holding on to? What's worth holding on to? How do we trust? How do we, a good way to look at it is literally what motivates our trust? Do we see the risk and do we see the reward? As the Sun trines Neptune, there's this intuitive hint. There's this, I don't want to say calling, but there's just this very clear, very in-depth intuition that guides you on where to trust, on what to pay attention to, on what not to trust, more specifically, what's important to hold on to, what's important to let go of, what do you have to let go of, what sacrifices do you need to make. And this is Sun trine Neptune. This is very like, it's not about, it's about being, I guess, intuitive with your step is one way to put it. I'm kind of struggling the way I want to word it, but it's the same way when you jam. I think I made this analogy in my last week's horoscope. It's kind of like when you're jamming with a musician. If you really jam, if you really fuck with another musician, like you guys can just jam. You can just openly music just starts flowing. Like you don't have to guess about it. Yes, there's, sometimes there's some rough edges, but this is kind of like one of those things where if you're just kind of connected, if you're just kind of on the same frequency, on that same wavelength, things become a lot more clear. Now, that's Mercury going into Scorpio. Once we get to November 12th, that's when we're going to have Jupiter conjoin Pluto. Now, this is round 3 of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. This has been going on forever. I feel like this has been a thing that's been going on all year. When you saw the first Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, you saw here in America, you saw the biggest stimulus package be put out. That's when everyone got money. When Jupiter retrograded and conjoined Pluto, what I thought was interesting was that, like, there was all of these bubbles kind of coming up, and and there was also a lot of talk of like, are we getting another stimulus? Are we not? I think as Jupiter conjoins Pluto, I think, this is also after the election. I wouldn't be surprised if stimulus talks happened or if something actually got passed. It's Jupiter and Capricorn. Don't expect it to be great. Like, expect it to just be something. And it's also Jupiter Pluto too. I would also there's one part of me that really wants to talk about the mundane part where it's like, expect bubbles to burst, expect things to get extremely inflated, expect things to just kind of go to the extreme with Jupiter and Capricorn. It's like pushing a balloon like to its very limits. But on a personal level, Jupiter, Jupiter is the planet that's all about our spirituality. It is about our beliefs. It is about our worldview. It is about, what keeps us positive, happy. And with Jupiter conjoining Pluto, like, something that I kind of thought was crazy about this year is a lot of our consciousness has really changed dramatically about how we see this world working, how we see how these structures operate. There is a inherent change in a lot of our worldview this year. And I think with Jupiter conjoining Pluto at this point, there's a lot of things that kind of get cemented, that kind of get finalized. I think there is this radical change or this radicalness to Jupiter conjoined Pluto. Things can get really extreme really fast. So I think with Jupiter conjoining Pluto, it's going to be important to, understand the extremes of the situation. If you're going to tune your car and make it go really, really fast, like, you want to make sure you have a roll cage, the right type of seat belts, you're wearing a helmet, the right steering wheel. There's certain, prerequisites or factors that you want to including safety. I think with Jupiter conjoined Pluto, it's like, if you're going to take things extreme, if you're going to go extreme, just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. Make sure you're aware and educated on what it is that you're exploring. And I think Jupiter conjoined Pluto too, there's going to be a real big fear, a real big feeling of scarcity. Like, that's Jupiter conjoining, I've talked about this all year, how Jupiter in Capricorn is very like, this is what I have. This is what I get. It's not a lot, but it works. And it's Jupiter conjoined Pluto that can just be like this fear of not enough, or this existential dread of there's not enough room, or you're being pushed in by the outside walls. Again, Jupiter takes up a lot of space, and it's in the sign of Capricorn, where it's going to feel like, you're claustrophobic. And I think Jupiter and Pluto can just exploit that feeling. So just, try to find ways to chill, try to find ways to like get yourself comfortable, because the Jupiter Pluto thing is going to stoke some anxiety, going to stoke some fear. We get to the new moon in Scorpio, and this is where it gets good. This is where everything changes, in my opinion. I've talked about this since my year ahead horoscopes. November 14th, new moon in Scorpio, Mars stations direct. There is this is, in my opinion, this is what we're all waiting for. This is the big finale. This is go time here. This is go, 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 go. Everything in the astrology says go. Yeah, sure, Venus squares Jupiter and Saturn too here. Soon we'll talk about that. But new moon in Scorpio, where are we, what is so deep in our lives? What are we attached to that's so deep, that roots us? Like, literally roots us in both emotionally and our intentions. This is a new moon in Scorpio. Both of the luminaries are focused on Scorpio. What do we need to let go of? Where do we need to like really sink our teeth into our roots and like, get grounded, get real. Like, Scorpio is not about bullshit. You don't waste Scorpio. What I love about Scorpio is they don't like to waste their time. They like to be very like, this is what I'm about. This is what I'm moving forward on. This is my intention. What is your intention? Spiritual people love to be like, and I say this stuff too, like, new moons are great for setting intentions, but like, this is the new moon in Scorpio. Like, think about, let's go back to thousands of years ago. If you were some person in the Northern Hemisphere, this was like, you had to get your crops together. This was the final countdown, new moon in Scorpio. Winter's here, winter's coming. Do you have enough to survive the winter? Do you have enough to get things done? Are you going to be able to hold out? This is when things start, I want to reemphasize that feeling of scarcity, that sense of, and not necessarily scarcity in the sense of, there isn't enough, but do you have enough? Are you taking inventory? Are you using things consciously? Or are you just draining all of your, assets and resources into something? New moon in Scorpio, set your intentions. What are you doing? Mars is going direct, it's time to do something. It's time to move forward again. If you've been watching me since like September or August, I talk about Mars and Aries moving forward. The first time was like trying to be the little engine that could. We try to get up that hill, and maybe we had too big of a load on, and we weren't going fast enough to make it up this big hill we're trying to do. This is that moment. Mars retrograded. We went backwards. As we went backwards, we understood how to better take on these hills. We learned better about our momentum, about how to gain that momentum, about, we got stronger during that period. Now Mars is direct. Now that we're backed up all the way, it's time to hit the gas again. It's time to go forward. Yes, we're all exhausted. Yes, we're all tired. It's Mars square Saturn. If you're waiting for energy to come back up and to like really get going again, that's not happening until like April of next, or not really April. I would actually say more of like March, April of next year, when Mars goes into Gemini and it conjoins the North Node and it trines Saturn and Jupiter. That's when things will start being like, you'll have energy then, trust me. But right now, you're not going to get that. Yes, we're all tired, but this is the time to push through. You can do it this time. That's the other thing. The first time it was maybe harder because we tried and we just couldn't do it. Now we have the strength to be able to do this again. With Mars moving forward, like, we're fucking tired, but we can go. This is the time to push through. But this is the new moon in Scorpio, and this is why I fucking love this transit. You've got to want it. You've got to be clear about it. You've got to be direct about it. You've got to be, and maybe you're like me. I so struggle on clarity with what I want. I'm a Libra moon. I fucking change my mind every day on everything. With the new moon in Scorpio, you don't have to be clear about what you want. You just have to be clear about how it makes you feel. Like, how do you want to feel? Do you want to feel good? Do you want to feel angry? Do you want to feel grateful? Do you want to feel anxiety? What do you want? New moon in Scorpio is like, are you willing to do what it takes to gain that feeling? New moon in Scorpio, like, literally, where are your intentions at? What are you scared of too? Like, what are your fears? And this isn't a time to be like, let your fears overcome you, but it is a great time to have a conversation with your fears. I think it's important to acknowledge your fears. Part of me says yes, you should face your fears, but also I think your fears become nothing when you actually face them. Usually every time I've faced a fear, I'm like, wow, that was actually nothing. That actually wasn't that bad. I love that analogy, or not analogy, that the acronym of fear being false evidence appearing real. But this new moon in Scorpio, it's time to relinquish that fear. It's time to, get clear. It's time to put your game face on, your poker face on. It's time to get serious with shit. And I think it's exciting. I think it's exciting stuff. I think with Mars moving direct too, there's going to be this more of a pep in our step. It's not going to be as draining. Mars being retrograde is very much like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want to do. Mars is moving direct. It's like, all right, we're going to slowly start taking forward steps. Things aren't just reclining back now. So anyway, that's the Mars station direct. Then we get to November 15th, the next day. And that's when we have Venus squaring both Jupiter and Pluto almost on the same day. During this Venus Pluto / Venus Jupiter square, with Venus and Libra being in the superior position squaring Pluto, there is this again, scarcity or this fear. Venus and Libra wants what it wants. Venus and Libra is really trying to, feel good here. Also, I'd like to make the mention, Venus is in Libra, Mars is in Aries, Jupiter is in we have Venus, Mars, and Saturn, all of it. It's all in their home signs, and they're all moving direct at this point too. So there's a lot of things that are starting to move forward in some way. But I think Venus squaring Pluto is very scarcity, not enough. Venus and Libra, it's kind of like Venus and Libra is like the over controlling like mom that wants the party to go just perfectly, and everyone else is just having a good time, but it's not going the way that Venus and Libra wants it. So Venus and Libra has an anxiety attack over not having control over the situation. And I think Venus squaring Pluto is just going to bring some like, kind of dramatic changes to what we want. It might be difficult to feel pleasure, like some anxieties like weaning over you or kind of like hanging over you. But Venus also is squaring Jupiter here, which Jupiter's in Capricorn. If you guys watch Arrested Development, which you guys know, I love my Arrested Development analogies, because Venus square Jupiter is like when I can't remember her name. Who's the girl? Megan? Hold on, let me look this up. Arrested Development cast here. Lindsay. So it's like, this is like Lindsay when Lindsay wants to spend money, but there is no money. Venus square Jupiter in Capricorn. Lindsay wants to spend money, or she spends more money than she makes at her job. Like Venus and Libra, what our pleasures are definitely going to overcome our what we morally think is just. Jupiter in Capricorn is going to have a hard time saying no to Venus in Libra. Venus in Libra is so pretty. How can you say no to her? Even though Jupiter in Capricorn doesn't have the money, Venus in Libra, he's still going to give it to Venus in Libra. So the big thing here is, especially with expenses, try not to go too crazy with them. Jupiter in Capricorn, you don't have to fake shit. But you can also get what you want and make things that look nice. Like, Lindsay doesn't have to buy brand new things. Lindsay can go to Goodwill. And there's so much good shit at Goodwill. But Venus squaring Jupiter, it's like, you're going to want something really nice, but it may not be exactly what you hoped for. It may not be exactly what you were wanting or expected. It may not fulfill you in the same way. This is, the two benefic squaring. This is kind of like when you're ready to go to your favorite restaurant and order your favorite meal, and it's just not as good as it is supposed to be. And it's like, okay, that was fine, that was good, but whatever. But it is Venus. It's Venus in Libra squaring Jupiter in Capricorn. It's going to look real nice, but it may not satisfy the same way. So we get to the next big thing, and that's Mercury going opposite Uranus again. Now, like I said, I'm not really going to talk much about the election, but I did want to make a notice that I really don't think, I think with Mercury squaring Saturn and everything, I don't think we're not going to have the election results overnight. And I wouldn't be surprised if this Mercury opposite Saturn in the news, something about the election, something pops off, something that we uncover something that wasn't accounted for gets brought up. I'm really curious as to what this Mercury opposite Uranus is going to do. I would love to tell you what exactly it's going to be, but this is Uranus. This is the unknown. This is, extreme volatility. This is also Scorpio. This is kind of like reaching into the treasure chest and figuring out what you grab. I think on a personal level, though, there is this excitement to it. I would ask yourselves, there we go. I'd ask yourselves, what happened during the first time Mercury went opposite Uranus? What were you doing then? Was there something new that you discovered? Was there a value change? Because that's another thing. Uranus is in Taurus here. A lot of our values are changing. A lot of our values that we had are destabilized now. And with Mercury and Scorpio, maybe there's something deeper there for us to discover, and there's something deeper for us to find. And as Mercury goes opposite Uranus again, what did we discover? What did we learn? When we went deeper into that world, did we like what we found, or what we found? Yeah, did we like what we found, or was it uncomfortable? And I think Mercury opposite Uranus, there is this, don't make expectations. Don't assume shit. Just makes an ass out of you and me. But with Mercury opposite Uranus, that is some breakthrough stuff. That is some new stuff happening that you haven't done before. It is breakthrough stuff. So, enjoy it. I think it is going to be, again, destabilizing. It is going to cause some anxiety. It is a little bit scary, but I think it's also fun too. This is new and exciting stuff. So anyway, we get to, what's the next thing? Oh yeah. Then we have Venus squaring Saturn on November 18th as Mercury begins to leave shadow. Now, hold on, let me double check this. Venus square Saturn, Mercury leaves shadow. There's kind of a lot going on there. By the way, I will definitely plug, if you guys want you should totally, if you guys like this horoscope, please donate. Totally helps me being able to do all this stuff on my Twitch channel. If you guys want to hit the donate button, I'd super appreciate it, and I'd love you forever. When did this Mercury opposite Uranus happen the first time? When Mercury went retrograde, October 14th. And last week. I don't remember, honestly. I can't remember things. After it happens, it's just a vague memory to me. I don't know. But anyway, we have Venus squaring Saturn while Mercury leaves shadow. Now, with Venus squaring Saturn, this is kind of one of the more, I shouldn't say one of the more, this is a shitty transit. This is a super shitty transit. And and you know, again, I'm going to use the Lindsay analogy. Venus in Libra wants things to be a certain way. And it's like Venus square Jupiter. It's like, okay, you don't have the money for that, and you spend the money anyway. And it's like Venus square Saturn, and it's like, well, now you're broke, and now you can't feed yourself. Fucking stupid. like that's just like how it goes. It's like, you know, you can't lie to yourself. Like, that's another thing with Venus square Jupiter. Like, don't lie to yourself. Don't, you know, pump shit up. With Venus squaring Saturn at this point, there's this wall, there's this block. Venus is in the superior position here. So there is this Venus trying to connect, Venus trying to make balance. Venus is trying to do what she can. And I think with Venus squaring Saturn, you know, another way to look at this, instead of Lindsay spending too much money now being broke, another way to look at this is like, if you only have so much money, it's like you can still make things great and still make things look beautiful on a budget. And I'm saying this money analogy specifically because it's just Venus square Saturn. You could look at this even in an emotional way. Like, I would look at this as, you can still have a nice outfit by going to the Goodwill. You could still have a great outfit by couponing, finding deals. There's so many ways to get around those loopholes. And I think Venus squaring Saturn, there is frustration that, you know, there is some type of wall or barrier or authority that's getting in your way of exactly getting what you want. Or Venus in Libra, getting what's fair, getting what's just, getting what makes sense, getting what everyone wants. But Venus is in the superior position here. There is some, you know, you can still get what you want. You just got to be open to the idea of what it looks like. You can't just be fixated on this. You can't be a fixed sign. You can't be a Leo or a Scorpio or a Taurus or Aquarius about this. You have to be changeable. You have to be adaptable. You have to be willing to reach out, reach out essentially. So, Mercury leaves shadow on this day too. You know, what have we learned during this Mercury retrograde? What have we, you know, rethought of? What have we reviewed? What have we discovered? Now that Mercury's moving forward, now it's time to be more intentional. Now it's time to be more direct with our communication. I think it'll be easier too. Now that Mercury's leaving that opposition with Uranus, it's also now going to start sextiling this Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn stuff. And mind you, now that we're at this point in November, and this is something else I'm going to talk more about at the end of this month, but the next big thing with Jupiter and Saturn is they conjoin. Like, we're almost to the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. It's about to go fucking down. Like, are you guys even fucking ready for this? Are you even, like, that's something that's been really blowing my mind lately, is how, like, fast this is all came about. And with Jupiter conjoining Saturn, like, are y'all ready for this fucking shit? It's coming. That's one of the next, you know, after this horoscope, I'm doing the December horoscope, you know. I can't even believe I'm about to say that. I'm about to do the December horoscope. But with Mercury leaving shadow, you know, things just become clear. We get to focus on something new now. But that new thing may also be just as deep, if not deeper. Thanks for the donation. I didn't even see. Wait. Oh, it disappeared. My bad. Whoever that was, thank you. What's it called? What's the next thing? I'm like losing here. Man, we're only 40 minutes into this. Why was I doing horoscope? Why was it taking me so long to get through all this shit before? I have no idea. Anyway, on November 21st, that's when we have the sun moving into Sagittarius, and that's when Venus moves into Scorpio. Well, sorry, wait, what day was that? I'm like forgetting again. November 21st. So like, yeah, 3 days after. Sun moves into Scorpio. Sun moves into Sag. Venus moves into Scorpio. Sun moving into Sag. This is where things start changing into winter. Things start changing. It's the sun moving into a mutable sign. Things start changing. The weather starts changing. I think with the sun moving into Sag, though, things become more philosophical. Things become more meaningful. It's the sun, a Jupiter sign. The sun's trying to be more optimistic here. The sun's trying to be more jovial in a sense. But also, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the sun is also on its way to the south node, and we're going to eclipse season. I don't know if you guys are looking forward to eclipse season or not, but it's happening soon. But then Venus goes into Scorpio, where honestly, I don't know how to feel about Venus and Scorpio, because Venus going into Libra was like it's like Venus tried so hard to be in Libra this time around. Like Venus, it's like Venus and Libra is like trying to be like a good way to look at it. Like with Venus squaring Jupiter and Saturn, it's like Venus and Libra tried to be the pretty peppy girl. It tried to do the makeup. It tried to do all of the things that it's supposed to. But then Venus goes into Scorpio and it's like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to do what I want, period. And this is Venus in a Mars-ruled sign. So this is aesthetically speaking, what we value, what we enjoy is more martial in a sense. It's more intense. It's more meaningful. It's more driven. It's more engaging. Venus likes the more darker stuff in Scorpio. And it's like, you know what? Venus is going to stop trying to be something that she's not. Venus is going to go to Scorpio and be like, you know what? I'm going to do something that I'm going to like something that most other people don't like, or most other people don't find beautiful. Mind you, at this point, Venus isn't making any hard oppositions hard aspects. Yes, Venus will make an opposition to Uranus. However, I don't necessarily think that's going to be bad. It could be exciting. Another way to look at this is like Venus, and this is something we'll talk about too. Well, actually, I'll just save until we actually get to Venus opposite Uranus. But Venus goes into Scorpio. Things get darker. We go, Venus and Libra is like, I want pretty things. Venus and Libra says, I want to enjoy. I want to relax. I want to connect. Venus and Scorpio is like, I want to fuck. I want to, be on my own. I want to be into something that's extreme. I want to feel passion. I want to bring things on really intensely. Venus usually connects. Mars usually goes after things, right? So Venus has to do things in a Mars way. If Venus wants something, Venus has to go after it. It's not just going to come naturally to Venus. So also, this is Venus's fall. This is This is Venus's detriment. So doing Venus things like, being fair and being just is not going to go that well. Venus and Scorpio is going to do whatever Venus and Scorpio wants to do, whether you like that or not, whether you agree with it or not. I think it's going to be harder to connect. I think it's going to be harder and more difficult to I think it's going to be easier to disconnect. That's Venus and Scorpio, right? It's Venus and a Mars sign. Rather than me connecting, let me disconnect from this. Let me separate myself from this. Let me, if I really value something, if I really want it, I'm going to go after it. But it's Venus in its detriment, right? It's scared. Venus isn't good here. Sure, Venus was really struggling and being challenged in Scorpio, in Libra, but Venus and Scorpio, getting the goth aesthetic. The goth makeup might not look good the first few times until you start getting really good at it. So there is some uncomfortability here, but there's acceptance. There's I think with Venus and Scorpio too, it's very much like, there's some people, believe this or not, I have met actual people that refuse to go to like the grocery store or the corner store in their sweatpants and stuff. I don't know how they have not gotten to that point in their lives yet where they just say fuck it and do it. But Venus and Scorpio is very much like, you know what? Like there's no point into doing all of this extra shit when I can just go as I am. When I can just be who I am. I think Venus and Scorpio, there's just a lot of acceptance. There's a lot of tolerance too. Anyway, things get cool and spooky with Venus and Scorpio. Things get intense. If you like that intensity, if you like that rawness and that realness, Venus and Scorpio. Then we get to November 23rd, Mercury Trines Neptune. Now again, you're probably going, Cameron, you don't ever talk about Neptune. What's the big deal? You're talking about Neptune a lot in this forecast. The reason I'm talking about Neptune is I think this Mercury trine Neptune is both going to be cool, but I also want to warn you guys that so the fun part of Venus Mercury trining Neptune is, there's this very clear call to intuition. There's this very like, this is Mercury in Scorpio, our thoughts, our ideas, our mind. It's going very deep. It's going very real. It's going very raw. It's very emotional. And as it trines Neptune, there's this spiritual, this in very like galaxy brain type connection to, your spirit, or just your intuition. There's this, it's like, I was just telling a client this. I was just telling a client this. Scorpio is the most intuitive sign, but they're the first people to distrust their intuition. And so with Mercury trining Neptune, there's this like really heavy intuitiveness, but there's also this, it's going to be easy to distrust it, but there's this other part where Mercury trining Neptune is like, what frequency are you tuning into? What are you listening to? Are you actually tuning into your intuition, or are you making shit up and the story is just so convincing in your head that it fucking feels like it's intuition? It's the same idea with like empaths that are like, oh, I can feel your energy and I know how you are. It's like very egotistical, like, no, you fucking don't. Especially also, why are you reading my energy? Did I give you permission to do that? And did I give you permission to even fucking tell me that you're doing that? I think Mercury trining Neptune it's cool on one end, because I think on a personal, more subjective level, more to yourself, not necessarily to other people, there's this connection. There's this, also too, look, the moon's conjoining Neptune, trining Mercury on this day, on the 23rd. There's this, connection being made. You're tapping in, you're tuning into something. Just be careful about what you're tuning in and tapping into. It's the same idea. If you're gonna Bluetooth, or you're gonna, what is it on the phones, like SmartCast or whatever, where you like send stuff to the TV or whatever, make sure you're sending it to your TV and not someone else's TV. Just be careful what Bluetooth you're connecting to. Check your Bluetooth connectivity. That's a good way to look at it, because your music or anything else might be playing on someone else's speakers. So that's just something to be aware of. I think it's going to be good, but I also can definitely see how it can be problematic. But then we get to November 27th. And again, November's cool. November's interesting. I don't think it is as crazy as October. But look, we have a 4-day gap where nothing really happens between on November 2nd, November 5th. We have another pretty big gap between the 18th and the 21st, 3 days where nothing really crazy happens. And then the 23rd to the 27th. There's a 4-day gap where not a lot really happens. But then we get to the 27th where we have that Venus Uranus opposition. And lo and behold, the moon's also going to be right there as this happens too, because the moon loves to be, I love the moon because the moon, it's kind of like, you ever seen like bad America's Funniest Home Videos? It's like there's always like someone standing right in the way. That's always the moon. I swear to God, the moon is always conjoining whatever planet is doing something at that time. So it's kind of funny that the moon is going to be opposite Venus here and conjoining Uranus. But Venus opposite Uranus, this is a very fuck it attitude. This is a very fuck it mentality. This is a very, like Uranus is in a Venus ruled sign and Venus is in a Mars ruled sign. There's a lot of intensity, there's a lot of volatility, there's a lot of unpredictability, there's a lot of destabilizing. The moon's in Taurus opposite Venus here too. I think Uranus and Taurus bringing this innovation and destabilization to our values, to what grounds us, to our security, and Venus is in Mars. It's like, this can be, again, another scarcity thing where you're like, oh, I'm scared of being vulnerable, I'm scared of the unpredictableness, so I'm going to pull out all my money now. I'm not suggesting you do that or anything like that, but it can be like one of those vibes where it's just like there's this fear of something, so you have to hold on to. Like there's this feeling that there's not enough, or that there's this unpredictability to what could happen to what you have. So you're going to feel like you need to hold on to things more tightly. And I think Venus and Scorpio can do that. Venus and Scorpio can deal with scarcity. Venus and Libra is way better at abundance. Venus and Taurus is way better at abundance. Not necessarily Venus and Scorpio. But as it's opposite Uranus, I think there's an opportunity. There's a breakthrough opportunity. There's always a breakthrough opportunity with Uranus, any aspect. I think the breakthrough opportunity here is definitely like, can you get comfortable with being uncomfortable? Can you trust the process? Can you let things go? If you do lose shit to a gamble, what are you going to do? Are you going to be mad about it? Or, you'll learn for next time not to do that again. But like, you know, what else are you going to do? There's no need for you to be mad at it or upset about it. All right. Move on to the next thing. Venus opposite Uranus. Yeah, I think it's just going to be... I think in relationships too, that's going to be more of a relationship thing. You'll probably hear, I mean, in your own lives too, you might have a random hookup, or you and someone break up, or you and someone, just like actually tell your feelings to one another. That's the way I would look at Venus opposite Uranus. Then we get to the next day, Mercury sextiles Jupiter, which I love that you keep using the same emoji, Daedra DK. I can't even actually see what the fuck it is, but it's so funny. It just looks like a lot. It just is definitely the mood. Anyway, the next day, Mercury sextiles Jupiter. Finally, a good aspect with Mercury. It's so funny. I mean, like, we had Mercury and Virgo trining Jupiter and Saturn, but that was for like 2 fucking seconds. Then we had Mercury squaring Saturn and Jupiter, and then opposite Uranus forever. Finally, Mercury makes a sextile to Jupiter. When you're direct and you're efficient, you can save money. When you are clear about what you're doing, you're more efficient. You're not wasting time, which is like very Mercury sextile Jupiter. Like, if you're just instead of being, like when it comes to cutting paper, you don't just like fucking just make shitty cuts. You make exact cuts. It's it's also like about balancing your budget. You can't just like guesstimate how much money you just spent. Like if you count if you pinch your pennies and you count your expenses and everything, you can actually save up some money. And I think Mercury sextiling Jupiter, there's this, when you're clear, when you're on target, when you're on point, there's efficiency here. There's opportunity here. There's room to expand in ways that you didn't know. And I think that's cool about Mercury sextile Jupiter. Anyway, moving on. Again, I can't believe this is only an hour. I am flying through this. You guys I need a little congratulations here for getting through this and not taking 2.5 fucking hours, which we still got to read your guys' charts anyway. Then we get to November 29th, and watch me talk about this for like a fucking hour. Neptune stations direct, lunar eclipse in Gemini. And this is not the last thing, but basically the last thing. Neptune stations direct. The reason I really wanted to put this is like what was confusing, what we were unsure about, what we were, floating ideas around with, what our imagination was playing with as Neptune was retrograde. As Neptune now stations direct, there's this clarity. I think there's this peacefulness. There's almost this tranquility with kind of understanding where we're at with things. This is where, now that Neptune's going to be moving forward, we're clear what we're clear on. We're not clear what we're not clear on. I think with Neptune being retrograde, there was this, like really asking yourselves, am I clear on this? How do I feel about this? Is this real? Is this not? And as Neptune moves direct, it's like, okay, now things are really starting to become real. I know what is real. I know what is not. And also there's more things that kind of get compounded on for the next time Neptune goes retrograde. I just wanted to bring that up lightly. Then we have the lunar eclipse in Gemini too, also happening here. So let's actually look at what that looks like exactly here. Thank you guys for the compliments. I love you all. Wow. Okay, so this is that lunar eclipse. This is when it's exact. The moon is like literally in the 10th house when this happens. Actually, yeah, the moon is almost on the midheaven. So, this eclipse, Gemini moon stand up. This eclipse, for one, it's also on Antares and Aldebaran, which is really funny. Again, I talked about this, I think, in one of my last weekly horoscopes. I'm not the biggest fixed star person. That is Ryan Butler. Ryan Butler, Medieval Astrology Guide on YouTube. He has so much information about fixed stars. Please sub him. Please follow him. He has a lot of shit on fixed stars. The one thing I do know about Antares and Aldebaran is Antares is going to be the heart of the Scorpion. And hey, thanks for the donation. Thank you. Sailor Saturn, nice name. But with these two stars, what's funny about a big thing in traditional astrology that I know about this is a lot of the times, like, these are good war stars for like winning a war. But the only problem is if you were to put like Antares on the ascendant, then the Aldebaran is on the descendant. So it makes your enemy just as powerful as you. And so I think there's a really big power dynamic here with like both stars being of equal, like really strong force. I think they're both Mars Jupiter ruled too. But don't quote me on that one. But this eclipse, this is bringing up shit that started in May. What started in May? What started in May? Say it with me, guys. What started in May in my life? For, let's say, Gemini risings, this is a big thing about you and relationships. For Virgo risings, this is your career and your living situation. For Cancer risings, this is, your subconscious things that have become revealed, and also your health. There is this, what started in May, what during the solar eclipse in Gemini, or that would have been in technically Cancer. But this starts to become revealed. Things start to get highlighted. Things kind of perfect here. Eclipses aren't necessarily good things. Eclipses are dramatic events that kind of take your attention away. You're not necessarily always planning on eclipses, even though they're very predictable. It's asking yourself, what started in May that made you, what event, dramatic random event that occurred that you weren't even expecting, you weren't even guessing it was going to happen, but it did. What came up that made you change things for the past 6 months? Because this is where we get this full moon, this lunar eclipse, and this is the moon on the north node. There's this reaching towards, like, I want to understand, I want to embrace, and the sun going towards the south node. There's this releasing of being, there's this releasing of ego, or this releasing of our beliefs and our understanding, and there's this drawing towards what we know or what we're learning. Thanks for the donation. With this eclipse too, if I remember right, let's go back. We have the time. I want to go back to May because I'm pretty sure we only had one eclipse in Gemini and Sagittarius. Okay, so, oh Jesus Christ, I forgot about this eclipse. Holy fuck! I'm sorry if this is triggering for anyone, because this is so triggering for me. Yeah, there we go. So this wasn't actually technically an eclipse. Hold on. We're going to go to our trusted timeanddate.com. Timeanddate.com. So June 21st. No. So this one was technically not a solar eclipse, but this was the new moon. So this would have been, so what started here at the end of May that ended up being a bigger deal for you. It's going to be a bigger deal for you now, is what I'm trying to fucking say. Something that started here is going to get brought up again. And look at this. There's no way something did not happen to you guys here. This is a pretty big deal. Ooh. I thought I was going to sneeze. Man, you guys would have almost heard me sneeze on camera for the first time. So something about this is going to get brought up. Let's go back to Oh, we're in the next year. Something about that's going to get brought up. And what's important too is this starts eclipse season. As you guys should know, I'm a broken record. I repeat a lot of things a lot of the time. And one thing I like to repeat about is eclipses. And eclipse season is always, thank you for the donation. Eclipse season is the 2 weirdest weeks out of the whole year, or out of the whole 6-month period. They're always the weirdest set of weirdest 2 weeks essentially. I don't like what you'll probably see on Twitter is people are like, oh, we're going through a portal. It's one of those type of things. But I just think eclipses are just fucking weird anyway. Then we get to the next eclipse in December, and I think that eclipse in Sagittarius will be more prominent because we did have an eclipse in Sagittarius. We actually had an eclipse in Sagittarius in June, and that eclipse is going to get brought back up in December. But then we get to November 30th, and we have Mercury sextiling Saturn, which is basically the last thing that's going on. And again, with Mercury sextiling Saturn, when you're on point, man, when you're targeting, when you are focused, when you got that Mercury and Scorpio focus, you can be efficient. You can bring a lot of stabilization. You can be more disciplined, which is going to make you better at what you do. It's going to make you stronger. And I think Mercury sextiling Saturn, again, really not that big of a deal, but I think it is, like, we got to, like I was just telling, I talked about this in my last week's horoscope, that Venus trine Jupiter that we had last week, you know, both planets are in their fall, but like, dude, I'll fucking take it. I'll take any good thing that astrology wants to give me right now. Mercury sextiling Jupiter, Mercury sextile Saturn, not a big deal, but I'll fucking take it because finally a more positive thing. And that's this month. That's basically what this month is looking like. So I'm going to say this. You guys can go ahead and start putting in your birth information. There's a few of you guys that have done it a few times. I'm going to try to let people who may not have done it before do it. If you're a Cancer rising, and I've already read Cancer rising, don't put your information in. I'm only going to go through the signs once. And so, yeah, just try to and I'm going to go through it slowly. So if I go through it again and I ask for more, try to put it so. But if you don't see that sign yet, I'll ask. And I go in order too, by the way. So if you're on Twitch, you could see all the comments and whatever. If on YouTube, you could probably see it right here in this little corner. But I go through in order too. So we'll do Eastern 11. Man, 1950? What up, boomer? All right, hold up. So we're going to do Eastern 11, 11/22, 1950. Chicago. Oh, whoops. 10:19 a.m. City, Chicago, Illinois. There we go. All right, Eastern. All right, so we got a Capricorn rising. Let's look at your chart. Also, mind you, I'm looking at your chart on here. Thank you guys for sharing your chart information with me. But with your chart being up here, you're allowing me to just say whatever the fuck I want, and you're also allowing me to put this online. So thank you for doing that. Let's look at your chart. Wow, okay. Some big boomer energy here with that Pluto and Leo. Mars, so Capricorn risings. What's really interesting about the Capricorn risings this month is you've got Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto all moving direct on your ascendant. So the thing with the Capricorn risings is, I mean, you guys have been getting the shit beat out of you for a minute. Things are starting to be. Oh yeah, that was another thing. Put your ascendant. Thank you for guys for doing that. You guys are so good at doing things that I forget to say. Anyway, Capricorn risings. Things are finally moving forward for you guys. Now, for this person, Esther in 11, with Mars on your ascendant too, this is going to make you feel more, forward movement. But Mars is stationing direct, squaring your ascendant. So Mars stationing direct in your fourth house. There's some family, home life, private life, like your living situation. Things are starting to move forward there. That's going to help you take a lot of your personality and your identity and help that move forward. With Venus going into Scorpio and Mercury being in Scorpio in your 11th house, there's a lot of connection and friendships that are being made and a lot of friendships that are being addressed with the Mercury retrograde thing. We have that new moon in Scorpio too, so maybe this could be even moving in with a friend or some roommate situation gets resolved and handled during this time. What else? Venus squares Saturn. Venus is also going to be in your 10th house squaring this. So there's going to be some good things happening in your career, but it is going to be getting in the way of exactly how you want to come across or how you want things to be. It's kind of like, your boss is like, oh, hey, can you do this extra thing? And you're like, I guess, because I don't want to make you upset. But yeah, Capricorn risings, I could actually finally say things are moving forward and things are actually looking good for maybe once in your life. I know that's not exactly true, but Capricorn risings will be doing better. So next up, we're going to do 32053206. This person's is next. I'm going to put in the information here. 320-53206. This is a Virgo rising. So Virgo risings, stand up, salute, stand up. stand up. All right, hold up. I do not know how to put in information, apparently. 1983? Oh, what is that word? Oh, Virgo rising, 320. You don't even have your time. Hold on, let me scroll down to see if you put your time in. You better put 320. You got 5 seconds to put in your time. There you go, 11:22. 11:22. What, AM or PM? AM? Okay. Hold on, let me scroll back to find what motherfucking place you were born at. Catharines. I probably said that wrong. Catharines, Ontario. Well, it's gonna make me put Canada. Yeah. Canada. What? Hold on, did I not spell that right? Catharines. What the fuck? What am I doing? St. Catharines. Oh, I didn't see the saint. My bad. See, I'm fucking dumb as shit sometimes. There we go. Okay. Virgo rising. Hey, how was that Venus on your... You had the Venus-Jupiter trine, like, right on your ascendant in your 5th house. That must have been nice. Virgo risings. Let's see. Venus is going to be going through your 2nd house, so money will be good for you, specifically 3205, 3206. Venus will be conjoining your Saturn in a day chart, so maybe you'll be more serious or disciplined about where your finances and where your money's at. This is connecting more money, maybe even getting some from a school or some sort. Venus will be going into your 3rd house too, so there'll be a bigger focus on your communication. Venus will go into Scorpio, so you might have to be paying, you might have to buy more car stuff, especially as Venus gets into later into Scorpio, but you might have some like car issues that make you spend some money. Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, everything's going direct in your 5th house. Love and romance is doing better again. Hobbies, recreational activities, those are moving forward again. What else is going on? Mercury scoring Saturn and Libra in here. So money situations along with recreational stuff is going to be problematic. You may not necessarily be able to have all the money that you want to spend on all the stuff that you want to, but hey, you know, you got to do what you got to do. Venus is going to conjoin your Saturn. You should be more serious about your finances anyway. Then we get into, what else is going on? Mercury going direct in your 3rd house, just being better at communication, getting more clear about how to use your energy and use your time and use your assets. And what else is going on? And then we get the eclipses going on in your 4th and your 10th house. I mean, look at your Jupiter Uranus thing. This eclipse is literally happening on your moon, on your IC, on this axis right here. And this is also your nodal return too. So for 3205, 3206, or 3205, 3206, this is definitely going to be a big revelation or big activation with your career and your living situation. And this involves the moon. So this has a lot to do with your friends and, you know, your friends, your community. How does that affect your career and how does that affect your living situation? Those are going to be the things that are going to be coming up for you. Pupshaw 88. Pupshaw 88. You're next. This is an Aries rising. So all my Aries risings, stand up. Pay attention. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. I don't know if you guys seen that video. It's like some pastor. He's just like, wake up. Wake up. I have that stuck in my head all day long, all the time. At 05:21. So that's AM, I'm assuming, because you're straight up doing military time. Orlando, Florida. Cool, I spelled Florida right. Aries rising, 17 Aries. Damn, so that was crazy. 17 Capricorn rising. We had 19 Virgo rising, now 17 Aries rising. Let's see what's going on here. So you have Mars stationing on... Oh, I forgot to talk about Mars stationing direct for those Aries risings. But anyway, we have Mars stationing direct on your ascendant. You're starting to move forward. Things are starting to move forward again. Mars on your ascendant, you might have been getting injured, or I mean, you're a night chart, so you've actually just been having a lot of energy redirect about yourself. Maybe changing the way that you look, changing the way that you act, changing the way that you engage. It was really funny. So like one of my friends, she's an Aries rising, and she has her sun and moon in Aries too, like right on her ascendant. And Mars stations retrograde on her sun and moon, and so she's been pregnant. And so what I thought was interesting is Mars has been retrograde in her 1st house. She's literally been having to not do stuff, and she's usually like bang, but like always busy, always doing stuff. So she's been having to slow down. So like Aries risings, you've just been having to slow down. Now that Mars is stationing direct on your ascendant, you finally get to move forward. And this time, but it's a day, you're a night chart, or no, yeah, you're a night chart. So this is a lot more of like more constructive forward movement. Let's see what else is going on. You're done. You're wrapping up your Saturn return. You just, everything in your 10th house is moving forward. Career stuff is looking more positive and beneficial again, not looking as mundane. Mars is going to be squaring it though. So a lot of like, maybe you can be having issues with authorities and people in your workplace, but with Venus and Libra in your 7th house squaring Saturn and Jupiter, there is some type of reconciliation that's trying to happen with the relationships in your life, especially too, maybe even in the workplace. Relationships are looking good with Venus and Libra, but when Venus goes into Scorpio and as Mercury goes into Scorpio, also Uranus is like on your Jupiter sun right here, about to go opposite your Pluto. There's a lot of shaking up with money that's going to be happening. So with Venus going into your 8th house, you might have to this would be a good time to maybe pay off debt. Definitely don't spend as much. Your 2nd house ruler is in the 8th in detriment. Like, you know, you definitely don't want to take out loans at this moment. This is a good time to pay them off, though. Mercury going through Scorpio, as it's sextiling all of this stuff, there's going to be some type of connection or borrowing that can be takeover with your career stuff, with Mercury sextiling Jupiter and Mercury sextiling Saturn. What else is going on in November? We have that new moon in Scorpio with Mars moving direct. There's just a lot of change essentially going on, but things finally moving forward. So for the Aries risings out there, you guys are going to be moving forward. Career stuff's moving forward. Just don't spend that much money. And relationship stuff looks pretty okay. I think the Venus Mercury square stuff is going to suck. It is not going to be the best, but it's something. House dude 78, you're next. Libra risings in the house. Listen up, because we're talking about you now. December 14th. Also, one more time, I'll plug myself. If you guys want to donate, I would super appreciate it. Also, house dude, were you born AM or PM? You didn't tell me. Oh, right there. Okay. Yeah, if you guys want to donate it, super appreciate it. It's what helps me do this type of stuff. I'd love you forever for it too. Illinois. All right. Hold on, I gotta scroll back up here. All right. So house dude, Libra rising. Hold on, I'm just like looking at your chart. You know, almost like all of you guys have been Gemini moons. What's up with that? Or you guys have had Gemini placements. I have a friend that has a very similar chart to this. Man, you've been getting fucking wrecked though. So Libra risings, you got Venus going through your 1st house. You're going to be looking good, feeling sexy. You might be just feeling better about yourself. More people may be more attracted to you, or you're just going to be taking the more better selfies. But Venus is going to be squaring Saturn and Jupiter and everything in your 4th house. So there is maybe some of the good things in your life are causing some stress or tension in your home or your family, or maybe you don't want to be home right now because you feel so good and maybe you're stuck at home. That's Venus squaring Jupiter and Saturn. But as Venus goes into Scorpio, I mean, for you, house dude, you're going to be having your Venus, your ruling planet is coming back to your 2nd house. So you're definitely going to be, I mean, you also have Uranus going opposite your Venus too. So there's some type of money being made here, or some type of money being connected. Uranus in your 8th house, there's some accidents or some destabilizing with like shared resources. So be careful about where you're putting your money and who you're trusting. But this looks like some type of money or something coming in that's good for you, for sure. Mercury in Scorpio too. There's just a lot of mental focus and a lot more clarity around how to handle your money and your possessions and your property. There's that new moon in Scorpio, so a lot of things are starting to get really cleared up. Thank you for the Claire. Oh my God, thank you. Oh my God, Claire. New moon in Scorpio, things are going to be moving forward with your finances and your money. But with Mars stationing direct in your 7th house, this is also a lot of forward movement with relationships. You're a night chart, and you have Mars in Capricorn. Yeah, it's combust, but this is, you have a pretty strong Mars, so to say. Mars moving direct in your 7th house, your 7th house ruler moving direct. Relationships are going to start working out better. Relationships are going to be working out easier. Mars has been retrograding your 10th or your 7th, so you've been kind of like, reevaluating relationships, reevaluating where you want to engage in relationships. Wow, that was a really loud car that just drove by. What else is fucking going on? Mercury Leaf Shadow. Yeah, there's a bunch of this is a big focus for money for the Libra risings and personal looks too. It's funny. My sister's a Libra rising, and we were just talking about how she's about to get like 2 more tattoos, and her whole leg was going to be finished, like all completed, all tattooed, but she's going to be broke after it, which is very like, oh, that's kind of Venus and Libra squaring Saturn, and then everything going to your 2nd house. It's like, oh, after you get tatted, then you got to really focus on your income. So that will be pretty much a big thing for the Libra risings. A big attention to just spending money on your guys' appearance too. Merc Chronos. Ooh. Merc Chronos. Clever name. Aquarius risings. Listen up. We're talking about you. And we're talking mad motherfucking shit. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, we're not. 1:10 a.m. in Portugal. Man, you guys are all over the place. Coimbra. Not Cobra. Yes. Coimbra. You guys are literally all over the world. That's so cool. Portugal. I don't even know where Portugal is, to be honest. If someone put a gun in my head and tell me to point out where Portugal was on a map, tell my family I love them. Okay. Wow. Look at you. Wow. We have the same Venus placement. Both Venus at 18 Gemini. So this is, I'm just going to straight right off the bat with you, Mercronos, is going to be that, what's it called? That eclipse that we were just talking about. That was like on your birthday, on your Mercury, on your 5th house. So let me rewind here, which also, by the way, for the Libra risings, I didn't even talk about the eclipse happening in Gemini. So the Libra risings will have that eclipse in your 9th house. So there will be a big change in your spirituality and in your belief system happening then. But yeah, for those Aquarius risings, that eclipse happening in your 5th house of love and romance, and the sun in your 11th house, this is a releasing and a letting go of friends and community, and there's more of a bigger urge and more of a bigger calling to your recreational activities and your hobbies and love and romance and things it's more focused on you, not necessarily focused on the collective. Yes, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto are all moving forward in your 12th house. You just got done with your Saturn return and your night chart, so you've been dealing with a lot of subconscious fears. You've been dealing with a lot of unknown stuff. You've been dealing with a lot of repressed stuff. It's your ruling ascendant in your 12th. You're usually more alone and isolated anyway. So lockdown's been a little bit, your game. But as things get to move forward, those mental blocks, those mental walls aren't going to be so in your way anymore. Things are going to start to easily move forward. With Venus in your 9th house, there is going to be more of this comfortability and more of this expression with your spiritual beliefs, with your religious part of your life. You ain't doing no far distance traveling. But with Venus squaring Saturn, there might be this where you want to explore, where you want to learn more, and you want to connect more too. You might just be feeling more isolated and alienated than normal. But Mercury going into your 10th house, leaving shadow, Venus going into your 10th house. There's a lot of career stuff that's happening, a lot of good notoriety happening in your career. That's going to be sextiling all of this stuff too, so that's looking good. Mars is moving direct in your 3rd. This is going to be easier to get stuff done. This is going to make you feel like you're so lazy. Car problems won't be as bad anymore, and you can start moving forward on those things. And there's that eclipse in your 5th house. This kind of goes from, this is a big, I don't have to tell you, but this is a big focus on recreational activities. Like, what do you want to do, essentially? All right. Next up, was that everything? Yeah, that was basically everything. Next up, Sailor Saturn. This is for Sailor Saturn, you're a Cap rising. I already did a Cap rising. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to juke you out like that. At the Fantastic, you're next then, because you're a Gemini rising, and I'm pretty sure I haven't done Gemini risings yet. I'm sorry, Sailor Saturn, but thank you for understanding. So Gemini rising, November 21st, 1988. Toronto, Canada. Oh, wait. At the Fantastic. What time were you born? Oh, man, you guys are so bad at putting in all of the information. Quick. What time were you born? Quick. What time were you born? Quick. What time were you born? We're all waiting for you to tell us what time you were born. Right there. Never mind. It was right there the whole time. I'm just dumb. Man, I'm bad. I'm so dumb at stuff. It was right there. Why didn't I see it the first time? 5:54 p.m. Toronto, Canada. Gemini rising. Let's look at this here. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you're actually having quite a bit of returns. You're having your Mercury return. You're having your Venus return. You're having your Mars return. There's quite a lot going on here. So, first things first, let's talk about Mercury and Libra squaring Saturn, all that. A lot of recreational stuff, a lot of fun, creative stuff, a lot of love, romance stuff. It may just be hard to blend with other people. The 8th house is shared resources. The 8th house is debts. The 8th house is change and scarcity and stuff like that. So with Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in your 8th house, it's like, where you want to have fun and you want to spend maybe even more money on having more fun and doing more recreational stuff. You just may not have access to that type of stuff right now. So that may be creating some tension. And you may feel uncomfortable, like you're really ready to go and have a fun time. But you just need to be a little bit more patient. Mercury squaring Saturn, there's some type of reconciliation with, Mercury's on top of your Venus and Saturn squaring your Venus right now. A lot of your shared resources, a lot of your debt is telling you no, or even just crap that you've got to deal with is telling you no to the things that you want to do. But that's almost done. That's only for another little while. But with Mercury and Venus both going into your 6th house, this is going to be good for work. You're going to be really busy. You might be more focused on your health, but I would say health is probably going to be for the most part good. You are a night chart and you do have Mars in Aries. So, as long as you're active, as long as you're engaged, health stuff's looking good. Mars is also moving direct and moving forward. So health stuff is looking better. If you're looking to change your routine or get more on top of your health, this is definitely the month to do it. But yeah, Mars is also moving direct too. So friendships, groups, collective activities are going to be moving forward and you're going to be feeling better. And they might be a little bit more helpful during this time too. And then we have those eclipses in your 7th and 1st house. So like I said, this is highlighting relationships and your role in relationships. This is the South Node in your 7th house. And in fact, the South Node is going to be right on your descendant specifically. So this is a lot of releasing and a lot of draining in relationships. Like the South Node in your ascendant, you're like, I really don't want to be in a relationship with this person, or this relationship is really draining me, or this person, no matter if it's a platonic relationship or a committed relationship, it's draining. And the North Node on your ascendant is there's a bigger time. This is a bigger time to focus on you. What do you want? Who are you? What do you like? What do you know about yourself? So this lunar eclipse in Gemini is just going to be a time that's highlighting you. You're just going to be understanding yourself a little bit more. We did Aries risings, Cancer rising. Alexa sucks. Alexa sucks. Alexa, play Despacito. 11:30. 1994. Because I haven't done Cancer rising yet. Atlanta. 7:37 p.m. Atlanta, Georgia. Atlanta, G-A. Because I don't know how to spell Georgia. The Scorpio stellium in the 5th. What's good? That Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. What's good? Okay. That Mars-Pluto square. What's fucking good? So what? Fuck. Where do we even start here? Let's start with Mars. Well, let's start with Venus and Mercury. So Venus going through your 4th house while Mercury stationing direct in your 4th house. Family stuff's looking better. Home life situation stuff's looking better. Venus in the 4th house, you're spending more money on the home. you're redecorating the home, you're buying nice things for your house. But it's squaring Saturn. If you are in a relationship and you are a Cancer rising and you are the person that wants to spend money into the house, your partner is going to be like, no, we're not spending more money on that. Everything's fine the way it is. Don't do anything else. So there is going to be this tension of like, I want to spend more money. I want to put things here, but, also making your relationships happy. So also, and with family stuff too, this is like, family stuff's good, but maybe one relationship is like a little bit tense. This is going to be a lot of going back and forth between what your wants are and what your needs are versus what a relationships is. And this is a bigger focus on, bringing more joy and aesthetic beauty and pleasure to the family and the home life and your living situation. So spend more time at home, spend more money on your home, but also with it squaring Saturn and also on your Neptune Uranus thing, like, things are maybe things don't look as good as you thought they were going to. So just be wary. Like, don't just, jump the gun, which I'm going to say that because look at all this Scorpio Leo stuff. Man, if it strokes your ego, you will act out of that shit. Especially Mars square Jupiter, Mars square Pluto, that blow up energy, that fucking, that blow up energy is real. But with Venus, your Venus return is happening. Mercury is going back over here. The one thing too is Uranus is opposite all of your personal placements right now. So for the Cancer risings, with Venus and Mercury going into your 5th house, there is this bigger focus on the depth of what it is that you desire, especially when it comes to love and romance and sex. This is very sexy energy. This is very romantic, very hot and heavy energy for you guys. You Cancer risings, you love the depth, you love the connection, you love the trust. This is one of those moments. So if you're looking for that, this would be a great time. It's also sextiling everything, like Mercury and Venus are going to sextile Saturn and Jupiter in your 7th house. This is a great time to make those deep bonds and relationships and really connect, especially on romantic levels. This is a really fun time, I think, with Mercury and Venus in your 5th house. A lot of connection, especially for this person. Alexa sucks. Mercury, Venus, and everything on your Venus, Moon, North Node, Jupiter, like that's super sexy. That's super cool. I'm very jealous. Other things that are going on, Mars is stationing direct in your 10th house. Career stuff is moving forward. Career stuff is looking better. You're a night chart too, so Mars is actually kind of helping you out. So where you've been having conflicts or arguments or separation in your career, in your workplace, there's a lot of things that are starting to move forward. A lot of things are starting to gain ground. Now you get to go at this stuff again. Saturn and Jupiter and Pluto in your 7th, as they all conjoin, there's a lot of expansion in relationships. And that Mars square stuff, there's going to be some tension between your relationships, both in your workplace and relationships at home. But it's just going to be up to you to kind of balance that out. But it's looking pretty good for the Cancer risings. Mars is going to be squaring your ascendant. So it's not like this is going to be easy. Nothing easy doesn't necessarily, hard doesn't necessarily mean bad. Easy doesn't necessarily mean good. I do think that this is going to be both good and hard at the same time for the Cancer risings. For most of the cardinal risings anyway. Okay, so if you and your husband are both working out of home together, I guarantee you're going to be like, can we buy something? And they're going to be like, no. Can we get something to make this easier? And they're going to be like, nah. Or something like that. I don't know. That's how I would guess it, though. Let's see here. Who else do we do? Taurus rising. Did I do Taurus rising already? No, I didn't do Taurus rising. Did I? No, I didn't do Taurus rising at all. Okay, I didn't do Taurus rising, so we're going to do... Who is it? Resting Mars? Resting Mars, unless I did... Resting Mars. Hold on. There we go. Resting Mars. That's so like Mars and Taurus. February. Taylor Smith, you said I skipped you. I don't even see your fucking info nowhere. At least up here on the list that I'm on. Hold on. Date, February 10th. Don't be saying I skipped. I don't see nothing. 1999. 11:49 a.m. Calhoun, Georgia. All right. There we go. Okay. So Taurus risings. What's going on for the Taurus risings? Damn, look at this. Man, resting Mars, January and February of 2021 is going to be lit. Same thing with January and February of 2022. Going to be lit for you. Let's start off with Venus and Mercury in the 6th. Coworkers are going to be nice to you. You're just going to be busy. I mean, Venus is your ruling planet, so in the 6th house, you Taurus risings are going to be more focused on your health, your routine, your day-to-day activities, your habits. Venus and Libra. I was just talking to another client of mine about, because I'm a Sag rising, so I have Venus ruling my 6th house too. And like my schedule is leisure. My schedule is have fun. My schedule and my habits are, it's got to be pleasurable. I can't just be like, people have like Saturn ruling their 6th house. They're like, I'm busy. I have a strict schedule. I can't change this. There's a lot of peace. There's a lot of connection that you're trying to make in your 6th house. The problem is it's squaring Jupiter and Saturn in your 9th house. So there's some type of belief, or maybe even a practice, or maybe you go to school and your schooling's really getting in the way of the things that you're trying to enjoy with your schedule, or maybe just you're trying to work but school's getting in the way of work, or some type of learning thing, or some type of spiritual activity maybe that you do is getting in the way of work, or vice versa. Maybe your work is getting in the way of your spiritual stuff that you're trying to do. With Mars stationing direct in your 12th house, well, I mean, Mars, Jesus Christ, Mars literally stationed retrograde on your Saturn. So there was a really big shift in belief over this summer. Saturn literally ruling your 9th and your 10th house, and your Sun and your Mercury and all of this shit. There's a really big shift in how you present yourself to the world, how the world treats you, and your beliefs around that. And for the other Taurus risings, with Mars retrograding in your 12th, there's been a lot of anger. There's been a lot of suppressed and unacknowledged stuff going on. As Mars moves direct in your 5th house, in your 12th house, there's a lot of forward movement now, and being able to, like, Mars cleared out a lot of the hidden enemies, of the unknown. And I want to bring that up because Mercury and Venus are going to go into your 7th house. Mars is also your 7th house ruler, so there's going to be more emphasis on connection and conversation and communication and relationships, both romantic and personal and professional. But with Mars stationing direct and being your 7th house ruler, a lot of the weeds are cleared out now. There's a lot more of a path forward. Things just become a lot more easier and clear. 9th house stuff is moving forward, and we have that eclipse with the sun literally over your Pluto, and that lunar eclipse in your 2nd house. There's going to be some release of shared resources, and there's going to be a bigger focus on your own resources. So maybe you'll be disconnecting from something that you share with someone and being more self-reliant and self-focused, more independent with your own resources during this time as we get to that eclipse. But that's something I think you'll understand a little bit more as we get to the next eclipse that we have in Sagittarius. Let's see. There was a Taurus rising. Was that everything that it hit? Yeah. Did Gemini rising. Let's see. Who else? Oh, Johnny Boy 702. You're an Aries rising, not a Sag rising. Okay, then Astro Yoga, because I'll do Astro Yoga because I know that we're literally the same big three. So, I can literally just read mine. July 23, 93. Oh, yeah, we literally have like the same fucking birthday. 5:43 p.m. Where? Ashtabula, Ohio? Yeah. Damn, this is literally like almost my chart. Dude, and we have the same Venus. Like, we're literally almost the same fucking person. Okay, so Sag risings. First things first, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto going forward and doing a little bit better things in your 2nd house. So money's looking better. Being more on top of your finances, on your personal game. Venus and Mercury squaring Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto in your 2nd and your 11th might be like more friendships and being social. And it's so funny. I literally just went out. Like, I haven't done anything since fucking lockdown. Like, I have not done a goddamn thing. I finally just went out the other day and I spent like way more money. Like, I totally forgot. Like, when you go out, you spend money, and I forgot that that's a thing. And I was like, oh, I spent more money than I thought I was going to. Maybe I shouldn't do that. And I think that's like Venus in Libra, Mercury in Libra squaring everything in Capricorn. Like, being social, having friends, having a community costs money. And there's going to be some expenses that take a hit. But with Mercury and Venus going into your 12th, this is a more time to be alone, to be more reflective, to be more isolated. But this is Venus and Mercury in the 12th. There also might be some secrets that get revealed. There might also be some more in-depth things in your mind that you're not usually used to paying attention to that kind of come out alive and come out to play. There might be some more anxiety here because it's Venus and Scorpio and Mercury in Scorpio. It's kind of like the first time you learn about germs and how everyone kind of becomes a germaphobe real quick. Like, Venus and Mercury in the 12th is like, hi, thank you for the donation. But Venus and Mercury in the 12th is like, once you know that things are around you, your perspective of what's around you changes. So, it's just going to be, just deal with shit alone on your own. Get more explorative of your wants and your needs. Venus in the 12th house, you might like something that you didn't know that you liked. You might enjoy something that you didn't know that you enjoyed. And it's Venus and Scorpio. It's not going to be your first guess. Other thing is, we have those eclipses in the 1st and the 7th house. Where's the relationship? That's where I'm at. I'm like, universe, where's my wife? But with the South Node on the ascendant, the South Node's getting closer and closer to your ascendant. And that's the thing. If you're a Sag rising and that South Node hasn't hit your ascendant yet, coming from someone who I've already had the South Node go over my ascendant, it was so draining. It was so exhausting. I literally slept. Like, I took 2 naps a day for like 2 weeks, I think. Like, and I've never done that before. I'm usually, I'm basically a fucking crackhead. I'm usually always go, 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 go. I slept for literally like 2 times a day, every single fucking day. I was so tired. That South Node on your ascendant is going to make you feel drained. For you, Astro Yoga, you've got the North Node on your ascendant. You're not used to feeling this drained. You are more used to feeling very outgoing, very like, I'm pushing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But right now, the North Node's going over your descendant where your South Node is. This is a bigger emphasis on relationships in your life. This is also a big focus on relationships. There's a lunar eclipse, like something in a big significant relationship is happening. Venus rules your 11th house. So this could be about, and it's also your midheaven ruler. This could be about career stuff. Also, it's your 6th house ruler. So literally work, your routine, your career. There's new things that are being focused on that. Mars is moving direct in your 5th house. You'll actually know what you want. You'll know what you want to create. You're going to know what you want to pursue. You're going to have a plan ready. Yeah, that's basically what this month is looking like. Things are actually moving forward for us Sag risings. Sweet Melissa. There's a stupid billboard out here in LA that I fucking love so much. It's just, there's some lawyer and his name is Sweet James. And I fucking love, so Sweet Melissa is really funny to me. December, Jesus, what up, boomer? December 04, 1954. I don't mean to make fun of you, but I love making fun of boomers. Fort Worth, Texas. Oh, wait. Sweet Melissa, you didn't give me your time. Y'all have to give me your time of birth if you want me to read your chart. You there, Sweet Melissa? Oh, Sweet Melissa. You got like 15 seconds to give me a time, otherwise I got to move on to another one. 11 p.m. All right, thanks. 11 p.m. Fort Worth, Texas. All right, Leo risings. Okay. Jupiter, Uranus conjoining in Cancer. Wow. What a thing to have. Squaring Neptune in Libra. Half of y'all haven't even seen a chart like this before. All right, so Leo risings. Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto moving forward in your 6th house. Career, work stuff, co-workers, your day-to-day habits, your routine, your health, all of that's starting to move forward. You're starting to take on more responsibilities, take on more room here. Venus squaring, Venus and Libra squaring it, and Mercury and Libra squaring it from your third. You're not going to be able to do everything that you want to do. You're on a time constraint. Like Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto are in your sixth house. You can only have so much room for activities. You can't always have the fun that you're wanting to. But I think Venus in your second or Venus in your third is like, have fun when you can, enjoy what you can when you can. However, you can't make time for relaxation, I think, at the moment. You kind of have to squeeze it in. But as Venus and Mercury go into your fourth house and start sextiling it, sextiling that Jupiter, Pluto stuff, Saturn stuff, there's more harmony, more beauty going on in your home and your living situation. I mean, for you, sweet Melissa, you've got Venus retrograde on Saturn in a night chart in your fourth house. So Venus coming in here, this might be a better opportunity for your home and your living situation. Maybe buying something nicer, maybe just having better aesthetics, maybe decorating for Christmas or something. I don't know. Mercury going through your fourth house too. I mean, this is also going to be eventually trining your Uranus-Jupiter thing. It's also going to be trining your Mars. So there's a lot of comfortability and a lot of forward movement with the home and the living situation for those Leo risings. The next thing is we have Mars stationing direct in your ninth house. Mars in the ninth is very much like you can't take action. Mars retrograde in your ninth is like you can't take action unless you believe in what you're doing. And I think with Mars stationing direct, there's a lot more belief being installed. There's a lot more confidence in going about stuff. You're not confident in yourself. There's a lot more clarity in your direction. There's a lot more passion in your engagement and in your energy. So I think that's something that's really going to be fun to look forward to. But then we have those eclipses going on. I mean, this eclipse is literally happening in your fifth house where your sun is at. So you're usually someone who's focused. I mean, your ruling planet is literally in the fifth house. You're usually someone who's focused on having fun, focused on your recreational activities, that's focused on your hobbies. But this is the south node in the lunar eclipse is happening in your 11th house. This is going to be kind of a drain or an maybe your recreational hobbies feel exhausting or they're not as fun as you're used to having, as you're used to them being. But with the north node in your 11th house, like, go hang out with some friends instead. Go be social. Maybe socializing is what you need in order to re-inspire that creative energy that you need. And I think that's just true with all of those Leo risings. Like, just go and be more social, hang out with friends, and that's just going to re-inspire a lot more stuff. But also, an event is going to happen with friends. There's eclipses in your 11th house. So friendships are just a major theme. Friendships and love and romance. Who else? So we did Sag rising. What else? Who haven't I done? I did Aries rising, I did Taurus rising, I did Gemini, I did Cancer, I did Leo, I did Virgo, I did Libra, I haven't done a Scorpio rising yet. I did a Sag, I did Capricorn, I did Aquarius. I need Pisces rising and Scorpio rising. Hold on, I'm scrolling through the comments. And I don't see any Scorpio risings. Oh, Scorpio Miles. Scorpio Miles will do you because this says that you are a Pisces rising. So after this, we're looking for a Scorpio. We're looking for a Scorpio rising. 11. Okay, Chama, you'll be next then. 11/09/1993. Fayetteville, Arkansas. America. Why is this one Kansas and this one is Arkansas? Someone explain. Hold on. Fayetteville, Arkansas. All right, there we go. Scorpio Miles. Scorpio Smiles. Scorpio Miles. Wow. Okay. Wow. Look at your little chart. So Pisces risings, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto in the 11th house. Friendships are starting to work better again. Being not necessarily more social, but just connecting more with people and colleagues. It's not as rough as it's been. Maybe taking on more responsibilities there. With Mars stationing direct in your second house, money's starting to work better. You're not just burning through it. Maybe more money's starting to come in at this point, or what you're doing with your money is going to be a lot easier to take control of. Mars retrograde in Aries is like you've just been having to spend money where you've been having to spend money. Maybe so many unexpected expenses aren't going to be coming up as much. And especially because Venus and Mercury stationing direct and moving forward through your 8th house in Libra, there's a lot of connection. I mean, you're a day chart and Jupiter's here in your 11th and your 8th house too of money. So there's money coming in, some type of shared resource that you're benefiting from, maybe other people's money that you're benefiting from. And it is squaring everything that's going on in your 11th house. So maybe some of the debts that you're in, like maybe don't borrow money from friends because I think that might put too much pressure on those friendships. But that might make you be less isolated, or that may make you more isolated or alone, and maybe not just as social. Like friendships are going to be better, but you may just not hang out with them as much, if that makes sense. But Venus going through your 8th house, money's coming in. It's going to be opposite Mars and Aries. You know, you'll figure out what you're doing with your money. Then Venus and Mercury go both back into your 9th house. I mean, this Mercury retrograde was a really big deal for you specifically, Scorpio Smiles. It was literally on your ship. Uranus is literally opposite your Mercury, so there's been some type of big breakthrough that you've been going through, some type of deep realizations that you've had. Venus and Mercury going through your 9th house, there's a lot of connection, a lot of value, a lot of good things happening in your spiritual world, in your religious world, in the world of your studies. That's really good. It's going to be sextiling your 11th house. So if you're building a community with people along the lines of your 9th house, that's going to be really strong. Then we get those eclipses in your 10th house and your 4th house. That's where things are going to be really intense, and there's going to be a lot of energy feeling drained with your career and your work, where you've got a Mars North Node conjunction in the 10th house. You're used to doing things really, really fast, doing things really, really hard, always going really intensely. But now with the South Node coming up and the Sun, there's going to feel like a drain in your career, a drain with your boss, maybe even. There's going to be more of a bigger focus and a bigger pull towards your family, your home life, your private life, your living situation, and getting things better dealt with that. All right, let me scroll down. And who is the person who said... There we go. Trauma. Scorpio rising. Kazakhstan. Hell yeah. All right. Trauma. 527. $78. I'm sorry, I cannot think of Kazakhstan without thinking of that. Is nice, especially with fucking Borat bullshit lately. 8:20 p.m. Oh Jesus, I gotta spell this. Shoktinsk. Kazakhstan. Did I spell that right? Kazakhstan. Nah, fuck, I didn't spell that right. All right. Let me try this one more time. Htinsk. Shoktinsk. Did I spell that right? Try Karaganda. Yeah, I was about to say this database. So I put in Serbia and it changed it to Yugoslavia. So Astro Gold is still stuck in the 90s. So maybe it's still Soviet or something like that. Karaganda, Kazakhstan. What the fuck? Karaganda. Oh, there we go. Okay. Scorpio risings. Okay. Ooh, that sweet Venus Jupiter conjunction in Cancer. Sick. All right. So Scorpio risings. First things first, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto in your 3rd. You're busy. You're doing stuff. A lot of what you're doing is changing. A lot of how you're doing it is changing. A big thing is Venus and Mercury being in your 12th house, squaring your 3rd house. There's a lot of unconscious behaviors, a lot of subconscious beliefs that are getting in your way of making those changes. And that Mercury retrograde is going to bring a lot of that up. But as Venus is going through your 12th house, there's a lot more peace and tranquility and more value when it comes to uncovering and discovering more of those beliefs. And even though you're going to want to relax and have more fun and be more easy on yourself, it's going to require you to be more disciplined to change those behaviors and habits that you want to change, especially because Mars is moving direct in your 6th house. So it's like, you're wanting to take on more activities, be more busy, work more, engage more with other people, but that's not going to happen until, you clear some things up in your head. We have Mercury and Venus going into your first house. You're going to be more self-expressive, more communicative. Venus is going through your first house. You're going to be feeling good. You're going to be looking good. You'll be like, vibing basically. And then we get those eclipses to your 8th and your 2nd house. This is a bigger focus on shared resources and a bigger takeaway on your money. So I would look at this as maybe your resources and your money is feeling drained and feeling exhausted, and you're going to be having to put more money and put more energy into your shared resources, into other people's money. So you may not have money for yourself, and you maybe have more money for other people to give to, or to take care of debts or to take care of other bills at this time. So this month really looks like, good for you. A lot of things are moving forward, but it's going to require you to uncover a lot of things that you didn't know, and you're going to be putting a lot more energy into other people's problems than your own problems, if that makes sense. We have that new moon in Scorpio too, so this is a whole new, a new way of looking at yourself, a new way of doing things, and all of that type of stuff. So, and that's all the zodiac signs. I'm surprised 43 of you guys are still here. An hour and 50 minutes. Look at that. Wow, under 2 hours. Good job, Cameron. I'm surprised I did that. So with that being said, I need some water. So with that being said, that's basically what I got for you guys. November's crazy. November has a lot going on. There's a lot of things moving forward. I think it's exciting. This month in December are going to be the months to get your shit together, because you are going to want to have your shit together for January. You are going to want to have your shit together for December, mostly actually. Get your shit together, because whatever we're doing January and February is what we're going to stay doing for a while. So try to get your shit together now. We had a whole year. We had this whole year to fuck off and to fuck around and for things to be bad. Now it's time to actually get our shit together, get things going. And this is the month to do it. So with that being said, thank you guys for everyone who donated. I really appreciate it. You guys make this possible for me to be able to do this. And it makes me also feel appreciated doing this too, because when I post this on YouTube, I get nothing but negative comments. Not doing enough for other people. So I appreciate everyone that showed up. And if you're watching this on YouTube, again, if you want to be a part of this, make sure you follow my Twitch. As you guys can see, everyone is commenting here. And there's a bunch of fun going on in the comments on my Twitch channel, so make sure you subscribe. In the meantime, also, since you guys are here, since there's still 30 of you, 2021 horoscopes. I talked about this in the beginning of the video. I'm working on, like the rest of today, I'm writing out the outlines for the 2021 horoscopes. I'm putting 2021 horoscopes out soon. I'm putting a Jupiter and Aquarius video out soon. I've got a lot of sick-ass content coming out. I still haven't changed my website, but I am going to be putting a deal up for 2021 year ahead readings too. So just look out for that. And I think that's what I got for you guys. Honestly, I can't think of anything else. And my brain's too focused on the astrology. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. And I'll be seeing you next month.